Think about the last time someone pushed our buttons and made us feel angry. It felt real. It felt justified. But what if we were seeing it the wrong way? Jesus faced betrayal, insults, and even suffering, yet he never lost his peace. How is that possible? And what did he do differently from us? Today we are going to uncover a powerful truth that can completely change how we respond. If we desire a life filled with God's peace, like this video, subscribe, and comment Amen so the Lord may bless us, and those who stay until the end will receive His grace. Number 1, the choice point that Jesus modeled. What if the moment we feel triggered is actually the moment we are closest to freedom? Most of us think anger happens instantly, like we have no control. But what if there is a small space, almost invisible, where everything can change? When someone says something that hits us the wrong way, our body reacts first. Our heart rate rises, tension builds, and words rush to the surface. It feels automatic. But Jesus showed us something different. He did not react immediately, even under pressure, even in moments of injustice. He paused, and in that pause, He chose His response. That space still exists within us, right between the trigger and our reaction. There is a moment where we can decide who we want to be. Not who our emotions push us to become, but who God is calling us to be. The next time we feel provoked, we can ask ourselves a simple question. What response would reflect Christ in this moment? That question creates distance between us and the emotion. It gives us clarity instead of impulse. We are no longer reacting out of habit, we are responding with intention. And when we begin to live this way, we realize something powerful. We are not controlled by what happens to us. We are shaped by how we choose to respond. Number 2, the hidden emotion behind anger. Why does anger feel so strong, yet so hard to control? What if anger is not the real problem, but only a signal pointing to something deeper? Most of us believe we are simply angry because of what someone did. But if we look closely, anger often appears as a shield. It rises quickly, speaks loudly, and takes over the moment. Yet beneath it, there is usually something much quieter. Sometimes it is hurt, sometimes it is fear, sometimes it is the feeling that we are not valued or understood. When someone criticizes us, we say we are angry, but deep inside, we may feel rejected. When someone ignores us, we react with frustration. But underneath, we may feel forgotten. Anger feels powerful, so we use it, but it rarely solves the real issue. Jesus never taught us to hide behind anger. He always pointed toward truth and healing. And truth begins when we are honest about what we actually feel. The next time anger rises, instead of reacting immediately, we can pause and ask a deeper question. What am I really feeling right now? That question shifts everything. Because when we address the real emotion, we open the door to understanding, to healing, and to peace. And in that moment, we are no longer controlled by anger. We are guided by awareness. Number 3, the story we tell ourselves. Have we ever noticed how one small moment can turn into hours of frustration? Not because of what happened, but because of what we keep telling ourselves about it. Someone says a single sentence and then our mind takes over. We replay it, we add meaning to it, we build a story around it. And that story begins to shape how we feel. It is easy to believe the story is true. They disrespected us. They do not care. They are against us. But what if that is only one possible interpretation? Jesus often saw people differently than everyone else. Where others saw offense, He saw brokenness. Where others reacted, He understood. That difference came from perspective. The truth is, events do not carry meaning on their own. We assign meaning to them, and once we do, our emotions follow that meaning. The same situation can create anger or compassion, depending on the story we choose to believe. So the next time we feel triggered, we can step back and ask a simple question. What else could this mean? Maybe they are stressed. Maybe they are hurting. Maybe it has nothing to do with us at all. When we change the story, we change the emotion. And when we change the emotion, we change our response. That is how we move from reaction to peace. Number 4, the observer within us. What if we did not have to become every emotion we feel? What if we could experience anger without being controlled by it? Most of the time, when a strong emotion appears, we merge with it instantly. We do not notice it rising, we become it. Our thoughts, our words, and our actions all follow without question. But there is another way to experience what is happening inside us. There is a quiet part within us that can step back and simply notice. It does not judge, it does not react, it observes. Jesus lived with this kind of awareness. Even in moments of pressure, he was not overwhelmed by emotion. He remained present, clear, and grounded. We can practice this too. When we feel irritation or anger beginning to rise, we can slow down just enough to notice it. We can say to ourselves, I feel tension building. My thoughts are speeding up. My body is reacting. That small shift creates space. We are no longer inside the emotion. We are looking at it. And from that place, something changes. The emotion may still be there, but it no longer controls us. We can choose what to do next instead of being pushed into reaction. This awareness is quiet, but it is powerful. It allows us to stay steady, even when everything around us is not. Number 5, seeing difficult people as teachers. What if the people who trigger us the most are not interruptions, but invitations to grow? It sounds uncomfortable, but it changes everything when we see it clearly. We often label certain people as difficult. We avoid them, complain about them, or prepare ourselves for conflict before we even speak to them. But what if their behavior is revealing something we still need to strengthen? Jesus did not avoid challenging people. He engaged with them, not to prove a point, but to reveal truth. He remained steady, even when others were not. Every difficult person in our life highlights an area where our peace is still fragile. The impatient person tests our patience. The critical person exposes our sensitivity. The disrespectful person reveals how much we depend on approval. Instead of asking, why are they like this? We can ask a different question. What is this moment trying to teach us? That shift turns frustration into growth. We are no longer victims of someone else's behavior. We become students in every interaction. And slowly, something begins to change. The same situations that once triggered us start to feel different. We become less reactive, more grounded, and more aware. Because we are no longer trying to control others. We are learning to strengthen ourselves through what they reveal. Number 6, the boundary that protects our peace. What if staying calm is not about enduring everything, but about knowing what we allow into our space? Many of us believe that being patient means accepting every behavior without question. We stay silent, we tolerate, and over time, we feel drained. Then, one small moment pushes us over the edge. That is not peace, that is pressure building. Jesus showed both compassion and clarity. He loved people deeply, yet he did not allow chaos to control his actions. He knew when to engage and when to step back. We can learn from that balance. A healthy boundary is not rejection. It is direction. It is a clear expression of what we are willing to accept and what we are not. When someone speaks with disrespect, we do not need to absorb it. We can respond calmly and say that we are willing to continue the conversation with respect. When someone brings constant negativity, we can choose how much space we give to that energy. This is not about controlling others. It is about taking responsibility for our own peace. And something important happens when we do this. We stop feeling trapped. We stop feeling overwhelmed. Because we are no longer reacting to everything that comes our way. We are choosing what we allow to enter our inner world. And that choice protects the peace that God has placed within us. Number 7, the power of stepping back at the right time. What if the strongest response is not what we say, but when we choose not to say anything yet? In many moments, we feel pressure to respond immediately. Words come quickly, emotions rise, and we feel the need to defend, explain, or correct. But not every moment requires an instant answer. Jesus often stepped away from the crowd, even when people expected something from him. He created space before responding. That space was not avoidance, it was wisdom. We can practice the same principle. When we feel overwhelmed or triggered, we do not have to continue the conversation in that exact moment. We can pause and choose to return when our mind is clear and our heart is steady. This is not running away. It is choosing the right time to respond. A simple pause can prevent words we might regret later. It gives our emotions time to settle and allows us to respond with intention instead of impulse. We can say that we need a moment, that we want to continue the conversation when we can speak calmly. That decision protects both the relationship and our peace. And over time, we begin to notice something. We are no longer controlled by urgency. We are guided by clarity. And in that clarity, we respond in a way that reflects wisdom instead of reaction. Number 8, understanding the patterns that trigger us. Why do certain people or situations affect us more than others? It often feels random, but it is not. Our reactions follow patterns. There are specific tones, words, and behaviors that seem to touch something deeper inside us. We may not notice it at first, but over time, the same types of situations keep producing the same emotional response. This is not a coincidence. These patterns are connected to past experiences, memories, and moments that shaped how we see ourselves and others. When something in the present resembles those experiences, our mind reacts as if it is happening all over again. But once we begin to recognize these patterns, something changes. Instead of being caught off guard, we become aware. We can start to notice, this situation feels familiar, this reaction has happened before. And in that awareness, we gain a new kind of control. Jesus always saw beyond the surface. He understood what was happening within people, not just what they showed outwardly. We can begin to do the same within ourselves. When we understand what consistently triggers us, we can prepare for it. We can respond with intention instead of being pulled into the same reaction again and again. Awareness turns confusion into clarity, and clarity gives us the ability to walk through difficult moments with greater peace and understanding. Number 9, caring without carrying what is not ours. Have we ever walked away from a conversation feeling exhausted, as if we were carrying something heavy that was never ours to begin with? When someone around us is overwhelmed, negative, or constantly complaining, it is natural to feel pulled into their emotional world. We want to help. We want to support. But without realizing it, we begin to absorb what they are feeling. And over time, that weight becomes too much. Jesus showed compassion to everyone he encountered, yet he was never consumed by their struggles. He cared deeply, but he did not lose himself in other people's pain. That is the balance we are called to learn. We can listen without taking everything in. We can care without becoming responsible for emotions that are not ours. We can offer presence without losing our peace. This requires intention. We remind ourselves that their feelings belong to them. Their reactions come from their journey, not ours. We can stand beside them without stepping into the same emotional storm. When we practice this, something shifts within us. We feel lighter. We feel clearer. We are able to help from a place of strength instead of exhaustion. And most importantly, we remain anchored in the peace that God has placed within us. Because true compassion does not come from carrying everything. It comes from standing steady while offering love. Number 10, releasing the story before it controls us. Have we ever noticed how quickly a simple moment turns into a full narrative in our mind? Something small happens, and within seconds, we begin to build a story. We assume intentions, we predict outcomes, and we convince ourselves that we understand exactly what the other person meant. But often, that story is not reality. It is an interpretation shaped by our fears, our past, and our expectations. Jesus never rushed to judgment based on appearances. He saw beyond assumptions and responded with truth instead of reaction. We can learn to do the same. When we feel triggered, we can pause and gently question the story forming in our mind. Is this the only explanation, or is there another way to see this? That simple shift creates space between what happened and what we believe about it. Instead of reacting to a story, we return to what is real. Maybe they were having a difficult day. Maybe their tone was not about us. Maybe there is more we do not yet understand. When we release the first story, we free ourselves from unnecessary emotional weight. We respond with clarity instead of assumption. And over time, this practice transforms how we experience every interaction. Because we are no longer controlled by the stories we create. We are guided by truth, patience, and the peace that comes from God. In the end, we see that staying calm is not about controlling others, but about choosing our response with awareness and following the example that Jesus showed us. Each moment we pause instead of react, we protect the peace God has placed within us and grow stronger in faith. This is not something distant or impossible. It is something we can begin practicing today, step by step. If this message spoke to us, let us like this video, subscribe, and share our thoughts in the comments so we can grow together in faith. May God guide us, strengthen our hearts, and fill our lives with His peace and hope. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again in the next video.